Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to arguably the best euphonium player in the world, Dave Childs. How are you?
I'm very well. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, I mean, we've had lesson before this, but anyways, it's just very very good to have this conversation.
Well, it's nice to be part of your first podcast.
It's gonna be interesting. But I just wanted to get to know you a little bit better because in your YouTube channel you can find like videos from 2011
Yeah.
of your Japan trip and all of that. But I feel like mm, uh, a lot of euphonium players that are coming up maybe would love to know a little bit more about you and who you are as a person, and but as well related to your career with the euphonium and all of that.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask you, like, what do you think of the euphonium and classical music?
What do I think of the euphonium in classical music?
Yeah, its role, I guess.
Um, it's a good question. I think that the euphonium's role in classical music was non-existent initially when I was a kid, when I was growing up. I always enjoyed listening to the euphonium. I was really lucky that I grew up around two of the finest euphonium players I think there's been in my father and my uncle. I used to listen to them all the time. But as I grew older, I did realise that there was this distinct gap between the excellence of brass band musicians and what was going on in the professional world of classical music. And I think there's a common misconception that just because a lot of these players were playing in an amateur setting with the brass band. By amateur, I mean they weren't getting paid big sums of money. And then you had the classical profession where people were being paid. There was this misconception that they were better, that the classical world was better, and maybe the amateur brass band world was not. And I began to realise that as I got older, and I thought, well, it would be great to see the euphonium get closer to that. That if you want to make a living, be a professional euphonium player, then you need your euphonium, you need your instrument to be respected within that world. And so part of what I've been trying to do over the last couple of decades, and others as well, not just me, is try to introduce the euphonium to the classical world. It's not their fault. I mean, the euphonium isn't part of the instrumentation of your typical symphony orchestra. So there's no reason why anyone would necessarily know much about the instrument or respect it. But part of what I've been trying to do is introduce it and try to open doors for euphonium players that really were close to them for the majority of the instrument's history.
Yeah, it wasn't there when Bach or Mozart or Beethoven were alive, so yeah.
No, it wasn't. But you could say that for other instruments as well. I mean, that neither was the tuba, but the tuba is a recognised instrument because it has a home in the symphony orchestra.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference with the euphonium is it doesn't have a regular home in the orchestra, and therefore it was not considered a second-class citizen, but it was maybe moved to the side a little, which I get. And like I say, no one's fault. It's just the way things have gone. But as a euphonium player myself and growing up around tremendous euphonium musicians, I wanted to elevate the instrument to a place where I feel it should be.
Yeah, you've said so many things that I want to question about. But the first thing is that if you think there can be if there can ever be such as good as a euphonium player as you are, and let me put it in context because you're a third generation euphonium player, and as you were saying, you were brought up listening to as well one of the best, two of the best euphonium players ever. So I don't know how for you it was always euphonium, or I don't know what other things were there.
Well, the answer to your first question, yeah, I was lucky. in that I was privileged to be around that, and I don't take that for granted. So yeah, it was big. But do I think they can? Well, I don't even need to give an opinion, because there are fantastic euphonium players that haven't had my background, but they've found their own path. So there isn't one way to do things. You don't have to be a third generation anything to be good at something. You look in the world of sport, there's plenty of superstar sports people whose parents were maybe nothing to do with sport. So I think that when you look around the euphonium world today, there are more exceptional players around than there has ever been. Players who I think are phenomenal and who I greatly respect. So I think that players are only going to get better. They're certainly, I think when I'm an old man, there'll be players doing things that I could never dream of doing. I think that could continue. But musicianship is something else. Being a musician isn't just about how good you get on being on the euphonium. And so regardless of what instrument you play, I think there is always scope, and what age you are, there is always scope for your musicianship to develop, to create, to garner more experience, to inform interpretations in the future. And I think I'm still on that road of development myself. Every time I revisit something, I seem to find a way that I didn't like that I was doing before, and so you're constantly developing.
So interesting.
And so and then to go back to the last part of your question, was there ever anything for me other than the euphonium? Euphonium is what I liked. I think it was just seeing my dad play it. That's what I wanted to do. If I hadn't got into music, there was other things that I enjoyed. I enjoyed art. I enjoyed graphic design. I thought maybe at some point maybe I could be an architect. Another point I thought, well, maybe law. I'm interested in debate and history, and so that could have been something. But there was always something inside that was really pointing me towards music. And I think one of the things was I was quite good at it. You know, at a young age, there's always someone that's the best runner, or there's someone that's the best at drawing, or there's someone that's like really quick at math. And for me, from an early age, I was realizing that I was actually not bad at this music thing. And so when you get that feeling as a kid, you work a little bit harder, and then you work a little bit harder, and you get better, and you get on this circle of work and reward. So the more you practice, the better you get, and it continues. But with regard to instruments, I played trombone for a while. In fact, I went to music college as a first study trombonist, and switched to euphonium in my second year. So there was a moment where I was thinking maybe it would be more conventional and easier to find a path as a professional trombone player. But that coincided with me doing really well on my euphonium in a classical music competition. So I decided, no, I'm going to stick with the euphonium and go for it.
What is there left for you in the classical musical world, or in, I don't know, in your career? Because you were saying now that you always find things that you, in terms of musicianship, that you were not doing before and you could do now different. So I don't know.
But what's left for me? Loads, but not just for me. As I've got older, I've realised that this is a work in progress, with regard to the euphonium and the classical world of music. Excuse me. So I think that, particularly having spent time in the US, that we've got some serious progress to make to get the euphonium the recognition it deserves, and maybe during my lifetime I can push that a little further, but I think it's going to take a generation or two generations behind me to really run with it and continue the work, because it will take time. It will take development of repertoire. You mentioned some big composers a moment ago in the times of, what did you say, Bach, Mozart, whoever. We haven't got that repertoire.
No.
You know, it's so easy for orchestras to program, to book a world-class pianist and program Rachmaninoff, or you know, a cellist and program Shostakovich, or a violinist and program Mendelssohn, or hundreds of other amazing pieces. We not only are coming from behind with the instrument and the recognition of the instrument, but we come in from a real disadvantage with repertoire.
Yeah.
So we need to develop the repertoire so that in years to come, orchestras, bands, or whatever, music festivals can look at the repertoire and think, well, we'd like that music on our program. Oh, yeah, it's for euphonium. We'd like the euphonium too. And who's playing it? Oh, it's so and so. It's Jose. Yeah, we'll have Jose too. But it's very rare that the promoter will go directly for the player. They'll look first of all at the repertoire and the setting, and then the player is on the coattails of that, if you like.
Yeah.
And I don't mind saying it, but that's a lot of the breaks that I've had in the classical world are not because of me. Of course, you need to be a good musician, a good player, but they're largely because of the pieces that I've commissioned, and the orchestras, the promoters have been willing to program those pieces. Yeah. And the fact that they're composed for euphonium means that they need a euphonium player, and so hello, I'll do it. But so you have to have a thought process about it.
Oh yeah.
And so in order for to be taken seriously as a soloist, you need the repertoire to play.
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting, even though we come from a disadvantage, as you say, it is exciting because we're just building this new way into classical music, this new niche, let's say.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to ask you if you see a space for the euphonium in the orchestra as well at some point.
Well, I think the instrumentation of the orchestra is solidified. You know, there are occasions where the euphonium gets used. Mm-hmm. There's a poster up there, Cantata Memoria. The euphonium was part of that orchestra. There are other pieces by contemporary composers where the euphonium is placed in the orchestral brass section. It would need some serious composers to do it.
Yeah.
But you can't turn the clock back on time. And if you look at the music that orchestras primarily perform, you take a look at the premier orchestras and their seasons. They're playing music that was written a long time ago, and you can't do anything about that. So, in the contemporary scene, I'd love for composers to include the euphonium as a different colour in the orchestra. I think it'd be fantastic. But I don't think we can change history.
No, of course not. Yeah, that takes me to asking you if there are any particular situations like participating in playing with the orchestra, like in the Cantata Memoriam, or playing in brass band that you most enjoy.
I love playing in the brass band. Yeah. I think it's the home of the euphonium. You get great parts, and I grew up with it. It's like in my blood. Unfortunately, when you decide to try to make a living on the euphonium, it doesn't always, the two don't go side by side very well, because the brass bands take an awful lot of commitment, a lot of time.
Yeah.
And as we alluded to earlier on, you don't get paid for it. It's not a job. So it's a very, very extravagant and time-consuming hobby, basically, which I did for a long, long time, and I loved it. And I hope that one day I can go back and play in a brass band. But when my wife and I decided to have a family, and I had to have a little bit more focus about my career, there wasn't space to do everything. And so my hobby of playing in the brass bands just took a back seat, and it's been like that for some time. But I if you're asking me where do I like playing the most, in what setting, I would say if it's not playing solos, it would be sitting in the solo euphonium chair and playing there.
Yeah. What do you think about the euphonium studio you have here at UNT and everything that you're putting on, like the brass band or the euphonium and tuba ensemble here in UNT?
I think the euphonium studio here at UNT is has got a rich history. It's 26 years old now. My predecessor, Dr. Brian Bowman, started the studio here. He was the very first euphonium professor, and he did it for 19 years, creating, did some wonderful things. So to continue that legacy is a privilege for me. But the greatest privilege is working with all the students. They all come from different places, and I don't mean geographically. I mean they all come to the college with different goals and outcomes for themselves. Lots of music educators, lots of players who don't necessarily know what they want to do, but they just know that at this moment in time they want to get good at playing the euphonium. So I love interacting with the students. We have the biggest studio in the US, which means that there's a nice vibe about it as well. The players support each other. It's a bit like a big euphonium family, if you like. But there's some healthy competition as well, which is good. But I really enjoy the time I spend here on the UNT campus, and the brass band's good fun. I wish it was a little bit better. We could do some more repertoire, but that's just the way it goes. And the tuba euphonium ensembles, well, they're great fun because that brings like-minded people together to make music. I think sometimes it's a bit more fun for us making the music than sometimes it is for the audience, because there's not much colour in the euphonium tuba ensemble, so you have to really work hard at that. But we enjoy it, and it's, like I say, a privilege to continue Dr. Bowman's legacy.
Yeah. When you were growing up, was it in your scope becoming a euphonium teacher?
Not consciously, but I guess, again, watching my father, I could see that he was a great player, but I could also see that he delivered these great masterclasses, and I used to sit at the back and listen and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that's good, and you begin picking up on these teaching tips, and then of course he taught me at college as well. Yeah. And you're exposed to other professors, and there was always part of me that enjoyed helping people. When I say helping people, I mean making something sound better. Because I think that's quite a skill to hear something and go, okay, I hear what's trying to happen there, but if they did this and this and this, the performance could be elevated. And so I suppose there was something in me that was keen to be a professor. But I think it's part of your own development. You know, my dad said to me at a young age, you are your own best teacher. Yeah. You know what you're good at. You know what you're bad at. You spend a lot of time hiding the things you're bad at from everyone else. But if you're really honest with yourself, you're your own best teacher, because you can really focus in on those weaknesses that you know you've got. And when you focus in on those weaknesses, you're teaching yourself. And why not then pass that on to someone else? Yeah. You've climbed the mountain yourself, so help other people climb that same mountain. I think it's a good thing to do.
What do you think is a determinant factor in success or becoming great at what you do?
Putting the time in.
Putting the time.
Yeah, and listening. I think today lots of people like to talk about being successful. They like to talk their way around all the problems that you can experience on the instrument. And they like to analyse everybody else's playing. Everybody else has an opinion. But once all the talking's done, you've got to actually do some work yourself, because no one ever got really great at anything by talking about it. You get there by putting the time in. And one of the best pieces of advice I was ever given was, you only get out what you put in. So if you're prepared to put a lot of time in, then you'll get the rewards. You'll benefit from improving in whatever aspect of your life it is you're trying to improve. But if you're not actually prepared to put the work in, then you can't really expect to get the reward. So yeah.
How did your practice routine evolve? Because you're talking about like putting work, but you've as well told me in some lessons that it's not only about the amount of work you put, but achieving things in your work sessions and yeah.
Well, that, I think what I was referring to was efficient practice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no good sitting in a room and pressing this piece of metal against your face for hours on end if you're not actually doing things to help yourself. So that's where the honesty comes into it, and assessing your own playing. Well, what am I particularly not good at the moment? Well, that's the time that I need to. That's what I need to spend time on, and that's hard because nobody wants to sit in a practice room and sound bad.
Yeah.
You the whole reason we play these instruments is because we love playing them, and we love playing them because we enjoy the sounds that we create. And if you're creating really bad sounds, really bad things, and you're doing it over and over, it can be really it can be demotivating.
Yeah.
And that's when you need to be strong and believe in the process, and really work on those things. So when I said that to you, it's about efficient practice. Practicing something that you can't do and that you're not good at for an hour is better than practicing all the things you can already play for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. And did you always have so clear how you were gonna practice, or?
No, not always. I think that I had a routine from a young age that was the fundamentals.
What is it? The one your dad has?
Yeah. I remember doing that routine when I was about 12 years old. I would the fundamentals. For your sound, for your articulation, for your multiple tonguing, for your agility, for your coordination. I wasn't playing them as fast as I can now, but as a 12-year-old, I was doing that. As you develop, you then begin to discover parts. You'll hear a player, and you'll think, "Oh my goodness, I love that sound."
Yeah.
Or I love the way that they did that, and so you'll go to a practice room and you'll try and emulate it, and you can't initially. So then your routine changes. So I want to learn to do that, and you work on that, and then you'll hear something else. It could be, I remember hearing Christian Lindberg's recording of Vivaldi's Winter. And I thought, how on earth is he doing that? He's like double tonguing over octaves and stuff, and so I want to do that. So then my routine changes to incorporate that, and so and I think I said a moment ago, for improving, listening.
Yeah.
So it's not just listening to yourself, it's listening to other musicians and taking those parts of their playing and trying to emulate them. Not because you want to be like them, but just because it's a really good starting point.
Yeah. What do you think is better, to point out the negatives of the people you're listening, or the positives, so that you can bring it back to yourself?
When you're trying to improve your own playing, or when you're teaching someone?
Yeah, when you're trying to improve your own playing.
I think you can learn from both, can't you? We've all heard things and gone, well, I don't want it to sound like that.
Yeah.
And so you've learned something, but I think you I mean, if you're interested in getting better, then obviously you've got to pick up on both. But it's the special things. It's when you hear someone, it could be a singer or a cellist or whatever, you hear them do something and you go, oh, that was just really special. Then you've got to go back and listen again and analyse, what is it they did that made that so special? And it could be a dynamic thing, it could be something with the vibrato, it could be a moment of rubato, it could be anything, but you've got to listen and analyse, and so learning those things, that's what will really help you. But yeah, if you hear something that's not good, then it's obviously a very quick lesson to go, don't do that.
And I have a bullet point list of words, and I wanted for you to say like a couple words of each. Yeah. Okay. The first one is Robert Childs.
And you want me just a couple of words on Robert?
Yeah, the first couple of things that come to your mind.
Legend of a euphonium player, great father.
Yeah. The Nicholas Child.
Again, legend of a euphonium player and great uncle. Really,
yeah. Euphonium.
The best instrument in the world.
Yeah, I agree. Music.
Couldn't live without
it. Pop.
Yeah, I like some parts of the pop culture. Yeah.
I wrote here Cardi B. Do you know who Cardi B is?
Cardi B. Yeah, I do, but yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion on that.
Yeah, that's good. Practice.
necessary evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, brass band.
Fantastic genre. Yeah.
And Besson.
Yeah, the best.
Oh,
Better than your instrument.
oh yeah. No, I'm not gonna debate that. No, well, what do you do to relax? What do you do to enjoy your free time?
I have a young family, so I've got I've got 2 sons, and I love spending time with them. I love spending time with my wife. We watch movies together. We go and play golf. I love playing golf with my dad.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, and now my sons are old enough to play. That's good fun too.
Yeah.
But most of what I do revolves around music. But when music isn't there, I think spending time with my family and my friends, whether it's supporting football teams or listening to music together, whatever it is, I like spending time with the people who I love.
Do you feel like you need a rest from the instrument and from music from time to time?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, usually when I've been working towards something, a big event, big concert, I'll take a couple of days off after that because it's just been so intense.
Yeah, what do you have to say about your new release, your new album?
I'm really pleased with how it's been received. Yeah, I've made lots of recordings before, and some with orchestra as well, which I was really proud of. But this one with brass band, ironically, is seeming to get a good reaction. I think probably because it's quite varied, the repertoire.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
Is there anything you can talk about that it's on the works of pieces?
Yeah, I've got a new album coming out at the end of the year with piano, which is a lot more serious repertoire that I think the students here at UNT will be able to engage with. It's contemporary works for euphonium and piano.
Who's the pianist? Is it
Chris Williams?
Chris Williams. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we've worked together for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be. I'm looking forward to that coming out. Other things, I'm going to be playing a concerto by James Macmillan next week in Wales with the BBC National Orchestra. But then I'm really looking forward to bringing it here to the US and playing it with the Dallas Symphony in January. Which I think is a first. I don't think the euphonium has been featured as a concerto solo instrument with one of the top major US orchestras before. So again, a step in the right direction for younger players like yourself to continue with in the future.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I don't want to have you here all the afternoon. But I just wanted to ask. Did you always have motivation when playing and practicing, or?
The honest answer is no. No, I wish I could tell you that I'm just got drive all the time and I'm fully motivated. Some days I don't feel like playing the euphonium. Some days I don't feel like practicing. It can be more than days sometimes. And I don't think I'm alone. I think there's lots of players, musicians like that, and if you're a student and you feel like that, you shouldn't feel that there's something wrong with you. People, it's life, there's lots going on in everybody's life, and for those days where I do feel like that, but I know that I've got to play, those are the days where my practice won't be efficient. My practice will be fun. I'll just get some solos that I like playing, maybe not even get any music, just from my head, and I'll just play for me. Not for anyone else, just for me to try and put me in a better place, so that the next day maybe I will feel a bit more motivated. But I'm certainly not one of these players that you'll find practicing every single day. I wish I was, but that isn't my makeup. But I do strive for that, and I think that my students should too.
Yeah, well, I think that's a very good way of acting when you feel like that, and you're playing certainly. Well, I guess you could say, I could be better in this way or in this other way, but from the audience perspective, I bet there's not much people can say.
There's always something to improve. There's always something, and there'll always be somebody that can do something better than you. always.
Yeah.
So keeps you on your toes.
Well, thank you so much for having this conversation, and I hope everyone watching and listening enjoys it. And well, I just want you to say a couple words for um, people who don't know the euphonium or who want to start to know a bit more about it.
Okay, look it up on Spotify, Apple Music. Search euphonium. You'll find plenty of recordings. Listen to it. It's the most beautiful instrument in the world.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much for seeing this, and yeah, have a good day.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.